Hey, everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Kristi Brower, here with my sister, co host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going super good.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
Had a really nice crafting day, actually. It's been
Ooh,
just awesome to just sit in my office with plenty of things to do and just work on creative things. And it's a creative day, I think. Feels like it.
nice. That's
Yeah.
nice when that happens, when you actually have the time for it. That's great.
hmm I've gotten a little snippy a couple of times when people are yelling at me for, help with their stuff. I'm like, what? No.
Easy, God damn it. Leave me
I'm going to lock
alone.
the door. Yeah. I know, rude. But.
Well, and our mini June winter is over.
Yes.
It's back to being summer again. We had the weirdest week last week, you guys, where we had weather in like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
After we'd had
Freezing at
weather
night.
in the 70s and 80s. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. You think we talk about the weather all the time on this podcast? It's because we do. But if
Mhm.
you live in Idaho
You
in
know
a
why.
climate that is so unstable as ours
Mhm.
is, we went to a family reunion this weekend and I literally brought 3 different outfits and 2 different pairs of shoes
Yeah.
because
You don't
it
know.
could turn on a dime at any moment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You do not know. Yep.
And I don't do discomfort anymore.
Mm-mm.
I'm done with that.
Mhm.
When I was younger, I could just not care. Now, definitely can't not care. So,
Right. And don't wanna suffer through it. Yep.
not gonna
Nope.
do it. Nope.
I hear
I don't
you.
care if I have to bring an extra bag of clothes. I will.
Or 3, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I will do it.
We had a great time at our family reunion. It was so
We
beautiful
did.
up
It
there.
was super fun.
It's up in Island Park, which is near Yellowstone, and it is such a beautiful area. It's hard to even believe how gorgeous it is
It is beautiful.
up
Except I can
there.
always kind of hear the bears breathing.
I know you think that. Yeah.
It is major, major bear country.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. Like
We've had
not a
bears
little
in
bit,
camp there.
a
Yeah.
lot bit. And I think I have PTSD from my mom having PTSD around bears because I'll tell you what, yeah, Kara and I went for a four-wheeler ride down what I refer to as Bear Alley, and I was really not sure I wanted to go. We didn't go very far down it. She's like, "A four-wheeler can outrun a bear." And I'm like, "Are you sure? Are you positive a four-wheeler can outrun a bear? Because we don't have a
I mean,
gun.
what kind of bear?
We don't have bears, but I know I'm like maybe a black bear, but a grizzly bear?
And there's
I
grizzlies
don't
up
know."
in there. Scott
Oh
walked
yeah.
right up on a grizzly bear up there several years ago with our Great Dane. He was just walking up
Yeah.
the creek and looked up just in time to see our Dane run right up to a big female grizz. And he just paused and went, "Oh my God." And he called our dog Saphira, and she turned around and came back to him. And he did the thing you're not supposed to do, totally lost his shit, panicked, ran as hard as he could all the way back to camp. As he's running, he looks over his shoulder and sees that the bear is also running away from him up the hill. He had bear
Whew.
spray in his pack. Totally
Oh, he
forgot.
did.
Like, oh yeah, but all common sense went out the window. He was just going to get the hell out of there. Yeah.
Well, and that's
But
scary because bears hate dogs, and so bears will
yeah,
go after dogs,
right. And
and
Saphira,
dogs will
like
go
she
after
could
bears.
have like attacked something. She didn't. She ran up to her friendly. Like there was no. It could have been so
Ugh,
bad, so
yeah.
so bad. Yeah, and it was right there where we were when that where that happened. But one time when we were kids, we were camped up there and in a tent. So when we were much smaller, we were in a tent, and we woke up in the night to a bear huffing around the tent outside, outside of
Mhm.
in the campground at least, or the
And
camp
they
spot.
go,
It's not
huh,
a campground.
huh,
It's
huh, like
just
you
yeah,
know when you hear it.
yeah. And our mom was so upset and so freaked out that she basically said, "I we will never go camping again unless we have a camper." And that's why we got a camper when we were
Yes,
kids.
it is. We got a camper before we went camping again
hmm
because our dad was not giving up camping.
No, no, he was a real hunting, fishing, camping, golfing, outdoorsy guy.
Hmm.
Plus, a lot of our summer family gatherings are camping events, and
Right.
So that's why we got a camper because our mother said not another time.
Yep. And then we always had one after that.
Mhm. You can't blame her. That's pretty terrifying.
Hmm. It is. It is. So I had a great time as long as I was in the group where
Mhm.
the bears were not going to come. So it was good.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. It was great. We had a good time. Yeah,
But now this is our Monday episode. Might not seem like it because it's pretty late in the day we're putting it up, but it is.
yeah. But here we are.
But here we are. And we're going to kick this off with some WTF news from Katie.
If you were in an Uber and you think that maybe your Uber is going the wrong direction, what would you do?
Get out at a stoplight,
Okay.
call 911.
Maybe ask the Uber driver
Well, okay,
if
probably first ask the
this is
Uber
the
driver.
right way or well,
This
anything
seems
like
wrong.
that. It seems like there would be a multitude of remedies, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, not for Phoebe Copas. This is Phoebe.
Uh-oh. Oh dear, Phoebe.
Phoebe.
What did you do?
Mm, Phoebe was Phoebe was in El Paso visiting her boyfriend. And she's from Kentucky. And so this is West Texas. El Paso is only about 20 some miles from Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And so as they are driving down the road, she sees a sign for Juarez, Mexico.
Hmm.
A direction sign.
Yeah.
And apparently, Phoebe up there in Kentucky never did take any geography lessons to understand where she was.
Oh dear.
But she panicked, apparently, and thought that she was being trafficked, that she was being kidnapped and trafficked into Mexico because she saw a sign with directions to Mexico.
Juarez. Oh.
So, of the multitude of remedies you could think of, yes, calling 911, asking the driver where you're going, what are you doing, many of those things did not happen. What did happen is that she took a gun out of her purse and shot the driver in the head.
In a moving car?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
hmm
Holy shit.
That was her solution. They were on the freeway.
Oh my God.
So the car crashed into some barriers before it came to a stop. Luckily,
Sure.
nobody else was hurt. The police are saying there is absolutely no evidence that this was any kind of a kidnapping. He was literally just taking her exactly to where she asked him to take her.
Oh no.
Yeah, so Daniel Piedra Garcia lay in a coma for several days and then died.
Oh.
He was
Oh, that's
52.
so terrible.
Uh, looks like, from what I read or saw on TikTok, it looks like maybe he was a dad and a grandpa. He'd been hurt recently and had been unable to work and had finally been able to get back to work in driving an Uber to support his family and had only been doing it for a few days when this complete and total jackass killed him. Killed him.
Holy
His
crap.
family says there were reports that maybe language was a barrier. They said that is flatly untrue. That he had impeccable English. There was absolutely not a reason on the planet for this to happen, other than that this gun-happy woman who had a loaded revolver in her purse decided to pull it out and shoot him.
Whew.
Yeah,
I mean, I can certainly see both sides of this because women are not safe, and we know we're not, and
true.
women don't feel safe.
hmm
But that is certainly the nuclear option,
Yeah,
especially before like trying to say, hey, are we going the right way? I'm not sure. You could look in the Uber app too,
uh huh.
because I think you can follow your own trip
hmm
to see that you're headed in the right direction.
Well, or any map really. I mean, she could have just looked at Google Maps and looked at her destination to see
Hmm.
that they were on the right road. A lot
Yeah.
of things she could have done. What she did do is after they crashed, she took a photo of the man she had just shot and texted it to her boyfriend and then called 911.
What?
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. What was the purpose of the photo?
Yeah, a good question. So she's being held on
Gross.
$1.5 million bond. She was originally charged with aggravated assault, but it's been upgraded to murder now that Pedra has died. So
It's so
that's what
sad.
happened. Now we do now know, though, after a couple of days now that this has happened, that she also has some domestic violence charges in Kentucky.
Okay, I was wondering, like, is there
Mhm,
other history here?
mhm.
Because it's such an extreme
Yeah,
response.
she has a history of, it looks like, violent and unhinged behavior.
I think maybe her boyfriend really lucked out here.
I
As
guess.
far as like, maybe now he knows to stay as far away from this chick as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Poor innocent Uber driver who was doing nothing but exactly what she asked him to do and paid him to do is
That is
dead.
so sad.
Isn't that terrible?
That is terrible. That is
Yeah.
terrible. Mm.
So, Phoebe, top of the FOS list with you,
Yeah.
and so much love to his family. My God, no one
I
deserved
mean,
that.
why are guns the first option now?
And how did she not know in El Paso, Texas, that she was only about 20 miles from Juarez, Mexico?
Right. Like, that was not unusual to see
Do
where
they
she
not teach
was.
any geography in Kentucky or what?
I don't
Like,
know.
how did she not know where the hell she was?
But this option just seems to be the first option rather
Yeah,
than the last possible resort after trying everything else.
right. The
It's
nuclear
just,
option was
oh,
the
just,
first option. Murder
yeah,
was the first option. Yeah,
holy crap. That is terrifying.
yeah,
No, I'm
indeed.
so sorry for his family.
Yeah, the worst. Well, I'm going to kick the mic back over to you so that we can talk about a very interesting case that we've been following for years and years.
Yes. Friends, I think we're going to finally see some semblance of justice for Alyssa Turney.
Gosh, I hope so.
Here's Alyssa. And that is thanks really entirely to the very hard work of her sister, Sarah. This is Sarah.
Yeah.
So, just give you a recap really quick of the Alyssa Turney case in case you don't know it and you're like brand new to true crime, because this is a very well known case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, Alyssa Turney was last seen on May 17th of 2001, so 22 years ago.
Yeah.
She lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and she went to Paradise Valley High School.
Hmm.
On that day, her stepfather dropped her off in the morning, which is what he usually did, and then he picked her up around lunchtime. So he picked her up early from school. That's
Yeah.
that. It is alleged that they had an argument, and that due to that argument, she left.
Hmm.
And then no one has ever seen her since.
Yeah.
Um, so apparently the story has been told, and of course we don't really know what happened, and
No.
hopefully we will, because here's the thing: Alyssa has never been found.
No.
There's never been a body found. Um,
A lot of
later
stories have
in
been told about where
a
Alyssa was. A lot
lot
of
of stories,
lies have been told, but no Alyssa.
but never an actual truth, really.
Mm-mm.
So later in the day, after Alyssa supposedly ran away, her stepfather Michael and sister Sarah found a note in her bedroom that was supposedly written by her, claiming that she was running away to California. She supposedly had an aunt in California that she was going to. The
Now,
problem is she
remind
left.
me of where her mom. She was deceased, wasn't she?
I believe so, yes, because Michael was raising both Sarah and Alyssa.
Yeah.
Um, the problem with the running away story is that all of her personal belongings were still in her bedroom: her
Hmm.
phone, her wallet, everything, all of her clothes, all personal things. If she was literally running away, she left with nothing
Hmm.
as a 17-year-old girl. Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
she's just going to make it to California on her own, right?
Who wouldn't?
It was a
I mean,
Yeah, right. Crazy. So on
mhm.
that night, she was supposed to go to a party And they kind of, it the family watched, and, the police interviewed kids to see if she'd showed up. Well, she didn't. So on May 24th, Michael Turney says that he got a phone call from a California number where it was Alyssa on the phone, and she just swore at him and then hung up.
Sure.
Right.
Sure, Jan. Sure.
Then in 2008, Michael Turney claimed that Alyssa was killed by 2 assassins.
Oh, for the love of God.
And now get this.
Were they ninjas too?
Well, no, they were electricians.
Electrician assassins.
So weird.
Of course, those guys. Yeah, okay.
Yes, 2 assassins from the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers.
Oh my God.
Because electricians are assassins? No, I don't think so.
That makes
and she was supposedly buried in Desert City, California. So there have been a lot of stories told about Alyssa and about what happened to her. Mm-hmm. So initially, Michael Turney filed a missing persons report on her on May 17th. Initially, the police didn't suspect foul play. They believed the running away story. Mm-hmm. In 2006, a self-proclaimed serial killer, this is Thomas Albert Heimer, told a prison guard that he killed Alyssa because, these chronic confessors are a real pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. He'd been in prison since 2003 for something else. The Phoenix police did question him, and then they determined he had never had contact with Alyssa. And he says that he may have confused her with another victim.
Oh, God.
Right? So the whole time, this case is just cold, just nothing.
Yeah.
In 2008, the case was reopened. And at that time, police told Sarah Turney that her father, Michael, was their main suspect.
Yeah.
They raided the house where they discovered that Michael was quite the builder of explosive devices. He had guns, homemade silencers, and a van full of gasoline. Mm-hmm. They also found this. He had written a manifesto because, of course, he's a manifesto guy. He had plans to attack the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers in Phoenix.
What? Did he have beef with them?
I think he worked in, wasn't he a developer? I think he was a developer. Anyway, so he's going to, bomb their building, basically. And they just happened to search him relating to Alyssa's disappearance at the time that he was prepping for that and had all that stuff.
My God.
So he was arrested for that, prosecuted, and he pled guilty and went to prison for 10 years. And he was released in August of 2017. Mm-hmm. So he's been out. And during the time that he has been out, it has really come to Sarah's attention that he killed her sister. Yeah. Now, Sarah is younger than Alyssa. And at the time
quite
that
a
it
bit
happened,
younger.
Yes, quite a bit. So at the time that she went missing, she only just knew to believe whatever her dad said. She was a little girl. She didn't know what to think of this. So in July of 2017, there was a podcast that came out by Otavia Zapala, and that's a podcaster in Phoenix, and it was called Missing Alyssa. And it talked about the case, explored some of Alyssa's, interviewed some of Alyssa's friends and family. Well, in 2019, Sarah started her own podcast, and it's called Voices for Justice. Mm-hmm. And it explored Alyssa's disappearance and the investigation. She also managed to get a hold of 3,000 pages of publicly released notes and case documents from the Phoenix police. And in 2020, she began posting about the case on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And really, it was the support of Sarah's work on TikTok with millions of views, and all these people wanting to help her get justice for her sister. Yeah, that really spurred the police and the prosecutor on. in this
Mhm.
particular case.
Yeah.
She did 30 episodes about Alyssa's case.
Yeah.
And then she transitioned to covering other murdered and missing persons cases
Mhm.
because she, at that point, knew that there was an ongoing investigation into Alyssa's case.
Yeah, at that point, she finally had the attention of the police and the prosecutors, and
Yeah,
they were on it. So then she moved on to helping other people.
she did, which has been great. She's helped a lot of other
Oh
people.
my goodness, she's been amazing.
She
I
really
have
is a rock
so
star.
much respect for Sarah. She's been
I do
absolutely
too.
amazing. Yeah.
I do too. And, the love she has for Alyssa and,
Yep.
that she's absolutely determined that her dad will be charged and will
Yep.
go to prison for this.
Mhm.
So in August of 2020, the police arrested Michael Turney in Arizona. And he was indicted and charged by a Maricopa County grand jury on second-degree murder charges in the death of Alyssa.
Mhm.
Well, think of that date, August of 2020. What was going on around then?
COVID.
A global pandemic.
Yeah.
So Michael Turney has not been to trial yet. He is going to trial starting on July 6th of
Has he
this year.
bonded out, or has he been in prison or in jail ever since then?
I think he's been in prison,
In
but
jail.
I could be wrong about that. Or in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is now 75 years old. And he will actually be facing the music. Now, we don't know exactly what they have on him because he was indicted by a grand jury. There's no evidence that's been released publicly um, about how they've tied him to her disappearance or how they know that Alyssa is in fact dead because they've never found a body.
Mhm.
So I think a lot of us that have followed Alyssa's case for a long time have been waiting for this trial for a very long time. How do
Mhm.
they know? How did the grand jury indict him? What do they have that will, not only be reason to indict him, but that could convict him
Mhm.
of this murder?
Yeah.
We do not know, but we plan to be following that trial very closely. And we'll be doing
Absolutely.
updates on it because we are so happy for Sarah that
Mhm.
she's finally getting her day in court
Yep.
to defend and protect whatever's left of her sister's memory and just to know that her dad isn't out there anymore.
Mhm.
She's tried to talk to him about it. He's been very terrible to her.
Oh, yeah.
Um, won't, she at one point had said if he would just tell me he did it, I'd feel so much better. He's
Right.
never admitted anything to her as far as we know.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
again, the grand jury found enough evidence to indict him, but we don't know what that evidence is because this
Yep.
case is 22 years old. It's amazing to me, but I do think that they must have had quite a bit, or the
Mhm.
grand jury wouldn't have indicted. They wouldn't even have gone to a grand jury unless they knew they had,
Right. No.
enough to make this happen.
Mhm.
So we're hoping there will be justice for Alyssa Turney and Sarah Turney
Yeah.
and Michael Turney coming up quickly.
Absolutely. We are holding a whole lot of space for that.
We are, and we'll be talking about it and talking about what evidence comes out in the trial to help us see what is it that they know?
Yeah.
What do they have on him that can prove it? And how do they know that Alyssa is dead?
Yeah. Yeah.
And is it simply just the time that has passed and no one has ever had contact? The aunt that she was supposedly running to didn't know anything about any plan to run to.
No.
They proved that Michael Turney had paid someone in California to make that phone call
Yeah.
from California to him. They proved that that was fake, that
Mhm.
he had set that up with somebody. He had been traveling to California and he had paid someone to make the phone call.
Mhm.
So we know that nothing about that story was true. There's also always the note has always been in doubt because it didn't look like her handwriting.
Mhm.
It looked really like dad had written the note.
Yeah.
So we know a few things like that. So we know those things break his story down, but what builds up the prosecution story, that we don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
excited to see.
me too. And our hearts are so with Sarah. I can't even imagine
Absolutely.
what she must be feeling right now.
Yeah.
It's
We
going to
just
be
wanted to throw our
really
support behind
hard.
her because this
Mhm.
is going to be very challenging for her, but she's finally getting what she's always wanted, is just justice for her sister.
Yep. Yep. Good
Yeah.
job, Sarah. We salute you.
And Michael Turney is 75 years old. If he's convicted of second-degree murder, he'll likely never get out.
Definitely. Yeah.
which is good news. It's good news for Sarah. I have always worried for Sarah about what danger she must be in
Yeah.
because Dad's clearly unhinged. The whole,
Yeah.
bombing plot and all that stuff, he's
Mhm.
clearly way off. And I've
Mhm.
worried for a long time, would he try to kill Sarah or have someone kill Sarah to protect himself?
Right.
So I'm really grateful that she's getting her day in court, and fingers crossed they have enough
Yeah.
to hold him forever.
Yeah.
So with that, Katie, I think you're going to wrap us up with some creepy crime.
I realized it's an Idaho case.
Oh, it is. Oh, well, let's call it Idaho
What am
then.
I thinking? Idaho. Dear God.
We did a whole episode of Idaho last week.
Well, you're going to get it again. This is Deann Parkin. She's from Bear Lake County, Idaho. Deann has been through some stuff as of late. She had a really, really sad, hard divorce and or breakup. I don't know if they were actually married. I think so. Yeah, ex-husband. That's right. She's been through a
Mm,
bad divorce. And I know this because I've spent the afternoon on her TikTok that has basically been her online journal. And she really had me for a while. Deann, you really had me. I felt really sorry for you, and I still do in some ways. It looks like she and her ex have been through a lot. From things that she said, it looks like there's been a fair amount of emotional abuse, a lot of gaslighting, a lot of just mean shit. And at some point in this last year, they got divorced.
okay.
And he had picked up with a woman that Deanne claims is a prostitute and a meth addict. And it sounds like he's doing meth as well. It's been a really bad situation.
Mm, that is.
She has 3 children, and so she's just single momming it while he's destroying himself, and it's been really hard on her. Uh, and a lot of her TikToks were, talking about mom guilt and about how hard this has been and how she doesn't have much fight left in her, and she's just so tired of, not having any hope and things along those lines until June 1st. And then on June 1st, she posted a TikTok with the hashtag feeling optimistic.
Oh,
Well, let me tell you why.
dear.
I want to start right here on the 14th of May. On the 14th of May, she posted this on her TikTok. It's basically kind of a meme with her picture on it that says, "Moms, post your Cash App and see who blesses you." Okay, okay. Maybe she's trying to gather some money together for something.
Hmm.
Something, Deanne, maybe? Okay. And then, then the TikTok. Well, let's back up a little bit. On May 25th, she visited this website right here. It's called Rent a Hitman. Your point and click solution. We are 100% HIPAA compliant. Well, that might sound good to you, except for that. Why would HIPAA compliant come into play with the hitman? Well, they're saying hitman means Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act of 1964. I guess making people
that
feel
is
safe that their information will be kept private
that
here.
is not what HIPAA stands for, but okay. That's Health Information Privacy and Protection Act, and it's not 1964. Holy crap.
But maybe is meant to trick people or entertain them, depending on who you are. We felt entertained.
Hmm.
Deanne felt tricked because it says click below for your free consultation, and she did. Well, this particular parody website, if you try to hire a hitman through them, they turn that information over to the government because, someone's
As
about
you
to get
should.
killed. Yes.
Mhm.
So this was on the 25th of May. So they did, and an agent contacted her. So she was trying to find someone to murder her ex husband's new girlfriend.
Mm.
So she provided the website with her Idaho address and her phone number, along with the name of the target.
My God.
And in the application, she said, I would like the victim or the intended victim to stay away from my husband and family. She has helped ruin our family and broken it up with her drug abuse and prostitution services. She has ruined her autistic son's life and leaves him with strangers along with my husband to take care of him, and uses her son to get my husband to come back to her and then get him more hooked on meth so she can go out and do her own thing while breaking other families' lives. Okay. So, oh, this was on
Yikes.
May 23rd. Sorry, I'm 2 days ahead. This was on May 23rd that she, applied for her hitman. So, of course, that was then turned over to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, who
Mhm.
opened up an official investigation. She also said in the application, make her go away where she won't ruin no one's lives, no more stops contacting my husband, give her son a better life. She has ruined my family life enough, and who knows if it's even possible to be fixed. Take her to another continent or make her disappear completely where no one hears from her ever again. Anything to make her go away for good, please and thank you. I mean, she did say thank you.
She did, but holy shit.
So, a special agent with the ATF contacts her and agrees to provide the services that she was looking for. So, she told him that she had 500 saved up for this and did point
Five.
out that she can't let this get to the cops or no one. I can't lose my kids. Okay.
Oh dear.
So, they spoke on the phone on May 24th and also had a text message here. She said, if I can make this happen fast, that'd be awesome. I just found out she's in the process of moving back here. I'm trying to find out exactly, to where she's moving to exactly. So the hitman said, I'll be there late tomorrow night and we can meet up Tuesday. I'll move quick once I get the details. She says, sounds good. I'm willing to meet Monday night. I'm a night owl. I also know the car in which she is driving. Hopefully that helps to, I just don't know. There's not a lot of good grammar or spelling here.
Punctuation.
Punctuation. I just don't know the license plate, but I know the make, model, and year of it. Sorry, meant whenever you get in, or I will wait till Tuesday. So that was part of her conversation with the agent. She said
Mm.
she's willing to do anything, and she did not care if it means her being in a 6-foot hole. I'm fine with that. So, okay, Deanne, I'm real iffy here now. This is not good, but this is where she really, really lost me. She said, well, in the conversation, when they met on June 6th, the agent wore audio and video recording equipment. He met her at her work. When they got there, she said she was 100% sure, showed the agent a victim. She gave the agent $100 and a ring that she said was worth $1,500 and was going to give more money after the deed was done. So the agent asked her if she wanted the victim to be found. She said no. The agent said, would you want me to make it look like a suicide? And she said, whatever's easiest. If you want to make it look like a suicide, she's a prostitute too. Okay. Now, this is where, Deanne, you lost me 1,000%. When they talked, the agent asked if she was hoping her ex husband would return after the murder for hire was finished. She said she did. And then she said, I could care less if anything happens to the kid. I don't know your preference on kids.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
This is all horrible, but Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
She has a disabled child, and you don't care if the hitman kills the disabled child too? Good
Yeah.
God.
Not good, Deanne. We're done. I felt
None of this
sorry
is
for
good.
you. I don't anymore. She was okay with that woman's child being murdered. Yep.
Mm. She is so screwed. Ugh.
So as soon as she was done meeting with him, the police swarmed in and arrested her. She's actually sitting in the Jefferson County Jail, which is just right up the road from me in Rigby.
Yeah, it's right between us.
Yeah. The
Why
marshals,
Jefferson?
I don't
I guess
know.
Bear Lake doesn't house women, probably.
Well, she's on a marshal's hold.
Oh,
So
and it's
it's a
probably.
federal case.
Oh, right. Okay.
So the feds will put people where they can, or places where they
Hmm.
have a deal to
To
detain
place them.
people. So yeah. So they didn't release a mugshot. Actually, they have now, but I'll show you. But anyway, so that's kind of what happened. Here's a mugshot of
Ugh,
Deanne looking
dear.
bewildered. Deanne, what?
You can't order a hitman on the internet. What are you
Yeah.
doing? Oh, dear.
So I'm going to show you her TikTok. It's 3 minutes long. Some of it doesn't really apply, but I'm just going to let it all play so you can get a sense of Deanne and also what her mindset kind of had shifted to. She had found some people that were supporting her a little bit. She'd found a job. She was feeling optimistic. This is on June 1st. This is the last thing she ever posted on Facebook or on TikTok. So it was her last ticky tack before she got arrested.
How's everyone doing today? This is my third or fourth day at my new job. I get to have Wi-Fi up here, so that's cool. I got transferred from doing tours to doing tickets. Between Monday and yesterday, I did a total of 1,776 stairs. The tour that I do is 444 stairs going in, 444 stairs going out. It's a really cool tour if you haven't been. I recommend it. Good exercise too. Make sure you're in shape. And if you've ever been into another cave or mine, don't have any of those clothing or items on you to help prevent white noise syndrome, which is a disease that kills the bats that we have here and that are in the cave that hibernate and hang out there. It's not too bad of a job. I realize I do better having a job that's outside versus inside. I don't feel trapped outside as I do inside. And I get to be up in the hills all day. My bosses are pretty decent and pretty chill. One of the bosses actually requested me to come work down here versus being on a tour. And I'm honestly just game to work wherever. I need to work. I've got to work. With that being said, I thought I was doing pretty good. Coping and managing and suppressing everything. But I think my one boss picked up on it. And I vented to him. And funny thing is, he understands from my point of view. But there's that, so it is what it is. But it's not a bad view up here. You're up here in no man's land. And yeah.
Trying to be optimistic.
Well, I'll say the Minnetonka Cave is awesome. I've been through it, and it's probably much safer now that Deanne isn't working there. Good
Yeah. Very sad because she could easily go to prison for a pretty good stint here. And
Yeah.
that's 3 kids who now have a messed up dad, and that's what they've got.
Yeah. I mean, what she
Allegedly,
did to
of
her
course.
family is
But
terrible, but this is not the answer.
no. I had another TikTok from several months ago, and I didn't pull it, but she had talked about how she's somebody who is willing to fight and do anything necessary for people she loves, and she won't back down, and she'll do whatever it takes. And whew, boy howdy, won't she?
She was not kidding. Yikes.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. But Deann, I think you're probably exactly where you need to be. I'm sure sad for your kids.
Yeah, me too. Yikes.
Yeah.
What
So
a
there you
world
have it.
we're living in. Well, wow. Just a note, if you're thinking of hiring a hitman, don't do it at rentahitman.com. This is not the first time that we have covered a case that
No.
went through that website. People
Mhm.
literally do it and get caught. Like, how could you possibly think that that would be legal and protected?
Protected.
Like, the whole thing cracks me up because Health Information Protection and Privacy Act, not hitman, but that is genius on the part of whoever wrote this website.
Mhm. The website is hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But don't fill anything out, for God's sake.
No, not even as a joke. It's going
No.
right to the cops.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite an episode.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we will be back with more episodes. We'll be back with our live stream on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain and case updates. And, do your thing. Like, subscribe, share, comment. It helps us to grow. If you can leave us a rating over on Apple or anywhere else that lets you give us a rating, we really appreciate that. All of those things help us to continue to grow.
For sure.
And we'll be back with more. And you know it.
Won't we? Oh, I have
yes,
got
we
a Patreon.
Oh,
Do
yes, our
we-
Patreons are coming out this week
Yes. And
for the month of June.
oh my God. All I'm going to say is it's going to get testy.
Oh, no. Okay, I think I know, at least to some extent, what that means. So you won't want to miss that. We are True Crime Squad
Or you
on
do,
Patreon.
right?
We
Yeah.
do 2 extra shows a month over there. So if you sign up over there, then you get some extra content, and it just helps to support us.
Mhm.
And that's much appreciated. So check it out. And you know it. We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Take care.